Hello, welcome back to Confident Conversations, and we have YnalemB.
Hello.
How you been?
I've been really good actually.
It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yes.
I saw you perform last year, which was
Yes.
really good.
That was around summertime actually.
Was it summer?
Summer? Yes.
Oh wow.
Was it summer? I
Late-
think it was spring
Late
or
summer.
late summer. Yeah.
Late summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an event. That was definitely a great event.
That was really a nice experience actually.
I saw you twice last year perform.
Yeah.
I saw you once with your brother and once just you performing.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Not even a year, but it feels like a long time.
I mean, time flies very quickly, and here we are again
100%.
to have a great conversation.
Definitely. So what have you been doing since those performances? I know you went back to uni.
Yeah, so I went back to uni to study music performance. As I do want to be a creative within the industry, whether that's being a vocalist, a songwriter, or just someone that helps innovate people in the industry. I initially was going to study psychology.
Yes.
And a bird told me, or asked me even, if you're going to study psychology, are you still going to go back to music?
Okay.
And I was like, music will always have me.
Yeah.
And they were like, so why are you going to study psychology? And I think for me, that was like...
But aren't both subjects just as important for you? Like, music is your life, and I 100% get that. But would you not like to level up the playing field and sort of go for both?
I think if you're going to prioritize something, there's so much in music. And I think that we all need to have a deeper understanding. And at that point, you're only going to get richer with knowledge, especially in this industry. The more you know, the more, like, vigilant you're going to be in how to deal with people in the industry and how to come across.
Okay.
Because people at that point would take you more seriously. Of course, with psychology, it was more like, because I like understanding people.
Yep.
I do consider myself a great listener. And I'm very much open to interesting conversations. And I think giving not advice, but an opinion that may be validating for them to think, is it worth me making a mistake or moving forward with life in what I'm going to do. But I also loved working with young people. I worked with young people for like 3 years. And I've always loved working with children. I think it's a beautiful thing, their innocence, and just, you know, because you're an adult now and you see so much and you're exposed to so much, it's not the same as you were as a child, and it's like, oh, we grew up too quickly. And now I became more closer to my music side, because I feel like I did lose myself along the way, and I was like, I want more from myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was just giving a lot to others and just literally abandoning what my purpose was in my life. So yeah, when I decided I'm gonna go back into studying, let's do some research. And I can't lie, I was looking at psychology, but as soon as I was given a perspective of
what your passion is,
what my passion is, and
what
the importance is of knowing, I was like, music it is. So I love what I'm studying. I think it's so interesting. The people that you meet, we're all of like different ages, and it's different from like meeting people that are already established and just seeing a creative be just as creative as you in their own way. Like, they're representing themselves as an individual, and I think that is so important. Representation of yourself as an individual. Like, no one is following each other, no one is copying each other. Everyone has their style, their rhythm, their flavor, as 100%. I say. And I have comfortably allowed them to see how I am as an artist. And I think even our tutors and our lecturers are like, when they've seen us sing live, they sit there and they're like, yeah, we're loving it. Yeah, keep going. And they see the potential. And you know, as much as your family members and your friends see it, it's validating enough to be like, if they can see it, my tutors will see it. So will other creatives as well. So it's a good place to network, and doors are opening. So I'm very happy to be there.
Definitely, I think the beautiful thing with creatives is the people that you meet. I was talking to Luch late last year, and he sort of said to me, You're a creative. I never saw myself as a creative. I never saw myself as a creative person. But that conversation changed it for me. Because he was like, oh, you're creative. You're meeting amazing people. Look at the people you've met. YnalemB, D-Funds. You've met so many artists in the Latin community. You've met so many people. I think that's the beauty of it. You get to meet a lot of creatives. Not just in your circle, but people will message you as well and be like, oh, are you open to collabs? Are you open to do a shoot? And even that, for me, that validation of, oh my God, I'm great at this, that puts into perspective how good you are.
And I agree, it's so validating. But it's because you believe in yourself. And I think I feel like when you believe in yourself to do something good for yourself, more doors open. Because people are confident at the fact that you're confident.
Yeah.
And I didn't think of it before like that. And I was like, wow. Like people see that I am very much confident in when I'm in my limelight, when I'm writing a song. I just come with ideas, or when I'm talking to like directors whilst filming a shoot, and I have a concept or an idea and they implement it, and it's like, rah, like, where did you get that from? Yeah. It's cool, like, and for me that's enough validation. I don't feel like I need to do so much because I know I'm confident in who I am, and they see it. So that's why I say to you, a lot of the time people are looking for validation that doesn't exist. Yeah. And that's with male and females. And it's all, a lot of it is due to social media. And I think in the industry that we're in, a lot of the time is that we all have to be self-confident in the product that we bring into it. Like business perspective side,
I mean, you're right. But I think, especially for me, because I've not always been a confident person, I've not always believed in myself. But I think the moment that someone believes in you and loves what you do, for me, that was the moment that I was like, okay, I can do this. Like my Instagram lives, I believed in myself to a certain point, but after a while I was like, this is getting too repetitive, it's becoming habit. It's not becoming something that I love. This isn't becoming a habit. This is becoming an obsession. And I feel confident now, and I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm getting invited to events like Luch's event last year with LD and RBS. Absolutely loved watching people perform. Networking was amazing. And just being like, hey, you did amazing, you performed amazing, you sang amazing. I think I messaged you that straight after your performance. I think that for me was like, okay, I can reach out to people and people will care. Not so much of an opinion, but be like, oh, okay, he was there, he supported me. That was really nice. And I think that for me, I think that's the only validation that I sort of like to hear now. Like, oh my God, that episode was really cool. Oh my God, that episode really made me think about things. And I know you as a person, and I know you're going to get a lot of people thinking and talking, and I think it's going to be a really amazing episode. But I think I think now I'm just in the position where I'm just comfortable in speaking my truth. And yes, I've mentioned Pablo Escobar, I've mentioned Colombian politics, but these aren't topics that I would have touched on last year. I wouldn't have touched on these topics.
It wouldn't have been of interest, right?
No, it would have been. I think it would have been controversial, and I'm not a fan of controversy, but I've become comfortable in controversy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that's like the element of having conversations that people are not gonna be totally open to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's sensitive topics, but that's what your podcast is about.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking to Ocho the other day, and I was like, I'm not gonna get someone on that I don't like. Like, that's just something I can't do. And he's like, no, but drama brings in views. I'm like, yeah, but I can't do that to myself. I've got to be true to myself. I get,
it's not, no. Listen, I'm not a person for drama. I'm a person for, like, give me a perspective that I can I can give an argument to.
So for me,
it's not about, you don't need to like the person.
Yeah.
But if that person is giving a point of view that you haven't heard from others, and it's not necessarily something you agree with, it kind of gives you something to speak about.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's that, in my example, is, say someone hurt you or hurt one of my other friends. Because I've got that loyalty and I've got that factor towards the friendship, and I've heard both sides of the story and the argument, it's obvious that I'm gonna side with my friends. Yes, I'd side with the other person if they were in the wrong, because my friends were in the wrong. I'm always fair and I'm always open and honest. But the moment that it becomes personal and you hurt someone that I care about, you are off the scene for me. And the reason that is because, number one, if you're going to hurt them that way, or you're going to do something that's going to affect them, how can I trust you not to do the same to me? And that's always been my mentality. There's always been a mentality of, I'm someone that doesn't trust easily. I've been hurt before, I've been hurt a million times, but that's a different story. But from that pain that I've had before, I don't allow people to come in easily and hurt me or destroy what I've built for so long. So I think that for me is just more of a loyalty thing and a loyalty to myself more than anything.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I don't know. How I see it is business. And you're not gonna be with these people for a long time. Whether that's a like a decision for yourself to make. And I can't lie. I have met people that I don't like in the industry. Do I think they give knowledge that is worth taking in? Oh yeah, 100%. But are they particularly someone on a personal level that I want to associate myself with? No. So,
but would you collab with them? If it came down to it, would you collab with them?
I can't lie. I'll be very honest here, right now. There's a lot of artists, especially in the Latin community, that I will not collaborate with. Don't need to state names, but I will not collaborate.
Let me ask you this, because I asked Archie this, and he was like, it brings in the views. The drama brings in the views. And I actually love the conversation with him. But would you... I want to put this in a nice way. Would you... So, the perspective I was talking to him about this was, I wouldn't use someone that I don't like for views. It's not in me. I don't need the views. I'm not someone that goes, oh my god, I've got 1,000 views on the video.
How I see it is that I'm not going to use someone for clout.
Yep.
I'm not a clout chaser.
Okay.
You got to be smart about marketing. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm not a clout chaser.
Thank
I
you.
don't. No. That whole.
So
No.
you wouldn't
I'm
use
not.
someone that you don't like
This is how I
because
say
they're bringing the
dialect.
views.
I'm not here for the drama.
Yeah.
I'm not here for the drama. Like, I think it's so.
I think it's fake. I think
It's messy.
it is messy.
It's messy. I ain't here for that. There's too much going on. There's too much going on, and I don't like that. I feel like how I see it is that as much as I am in the public eye, especially with like social media and everything, I am quite a private person. Very protective of my family, very protective of my relationships, everything. And I think to work or involve myself with someone that is very problematic or is just drama, or because they're known for yippa they need to be in your life. No. I think especially as a musician, as an artist, someone that makes music, why do I need to bring someone in for views?
Yeah.
Clearly they don't have no understanding on marketing. Clearly they're just there for the vibe.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, music is the vibe. But then there's the technical side. Then there's the side of you wanna elevate. It's not always vibe. Like, you actually gotta think deeper than what it is. Like, it's a graft. It's a huge graft, and you're not just spending 1 or 2 hours. You're spending hours, days, weeks, months working on projects. So you're not going to bring just anyone to give them clout, or you give yourself clout. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, follow your own path, guys.
All right, let me give you the other perspective that I brought to Osho's podcast, because I thought this was a very interesting leeway into something that he said, and as much as I love Osho because I've known him over 15 years, so we both know Karol G and Shakira made a song.
Wait, say that again?
Karol G and Shakira made a song.
Yeah.
Have you seen them perform it together? Have you seen them perform it at all? Apparently there's beef between them. Like, it brought in the views, but that song isn't really doing much if it's not being performed, it's not being...
I don't know either.
I think it's...
I don't know. They're celebrities.
Yeah. But I think...
But that's not clout. That's not clout because they're both established.
No, it is. Like, it isn't clout, but what I'm saying is these are two top stars that we have in Latin America. They
did the smartest move. They're one of the two biggest stars in Colombia, let alone international.
Okay.
Got together, made a banging song, and it got the views it needed. That's not clout. That's thinking smart. If I was established, just like Karol G, obviously manifesting here from now, if I was established and I worked with her or with any other Latin female artist, established international, girlfriends, we're gonna make something in the like that. I think that in itself, I saw women empowerment. I saw overcoming, especially Shakira's situation, overcoming heartbreak. I mean, Karol G went through it as well. But like, it's that I don't see it as a form of clout. And regardless that they haven't performed it together
or at all,
they worked together. So at that point, no one can really be like, oh, they haven't performed it. Okay, but they have the song out. It got views. They're not chasing each other. They're not saying anything on social media. So they're just...
Oh, 100%.
That's how I see it. If there's no problem shown, leave it. Like, yeah.
So for me, when I started looking into the song, I started looking into... It wasn't reviews of the song. It wasn't... Like, you know the YouTube Shorts? I started looking into them because they started popping up.
Right.
And I think the beef was... It was literally about being the top superstar. I think that's what it was about. But for me, again, I don't need to go to someone that's getting higher views than me. But this is admirable.
That's another thing. Making comparisons.
Mm-hmm.
Again, these are two established artists.
Yeah.
Whatever problems they have,
that's not them.
These are human beings.
Yeah.
You know, I think people forget celebrities are human beings. Yeah. Although they're established, it's gonna happen. You're not gonna see eye to eye, regardless of how big of a star you are. And if they are competing for who's the best, I'm not gonna vote who's the best, because I feel like individually they represent themselves in their own way. But
you know what my issue is though? Like, these are two top female empowered superstars. And I'll say it here, I love both of them. I'm not a big fan of Karol G's music, but she's definitely up there. My problem with both of them is, why are they competing for the top spot when there's space at the top for both of them? And I think that's what people don't get in their heads.
I think for me is on a general scale, especially for artists that are not established. Everyone's trying to reach the top.
Yeah.
But
are they gonna...
don't think that you're better than others.
Yeah.
Even because no. Don't feel like you're better than someone when you haven't even got a title to your name.
Yeah.
Your artist name ain't enough to make it seem like you've made it.
Yeah.
Until you have an established career, you're just an artist that's still going up in the industry. So at that point, the only competition you should have is yourself. So I respect your opinion based on two established artists, but in a general perspective, especially now, what we're living in the Latin community, everyone's trying to compete for something that they haven't been established in. And I think the importance of bringing each other up is something that lacks. And like, shout out to Shakira and Karol G, like they did their thing. But what about us? We're not established yet. They don't even know we exist as artists. We just know that we're artists because we're building ourselves up to be it. Yeah. At their level. So at that point, celebrity drama drama in general, I'm just not here for it. And I respect whatever situations or whatever problems people go through, because I go through them myself, but that's got nothing to do with nobody, darling. It's nobody's business. And I don't know. I feel like this year it's like, it's really, like, you really got to stand on what you're manifesting. And I feel like this year, like, I just ain't here for drama. I've never been someone for drama anyways. So yeah, I think that when it comes to established artists, they can have their drama, but if you're gonna have drama based on who's the best when you're not established, then that's a completely different ball game, because you're not up yet. You know, yeah. That's what I had to say on that.
Definitely, but I'm not going to touch on that subject again.
Yeah,
I think you've won the argument. Pedro, the only thing I'd say about this is, if you are up there, and it's something that I've said a lot, is I will never forget the people that have helped me get up there. I've never forget the people who are around me. But there's always space at the top. There's always space for millions of people at the top.
Oh yeah, but I say that to everyone. There's space at the top if you want to stay at the top with me. Like, that's because you need to, as my parents have always said, necesitas seguir adelante. Like, you gotta persevere. You gotta do it. Whether it's on your own, whether it's with people, it's a lonely journey, the music industry. Very lonely. Regardless that you have so much around you, it's very lonely because it's you putting in the work. And obviously now, like, a lot more people in the music industry are involved in my life. I also model, so I'm around a lot of creative people, and I love that energy. I love that people want to express themselves in their own way, because I like to do that. Yeah. And yeah, like, I just want to enjoy the journey instead of following something and pretending to be something that I'm not. I'm not here to put a facade in this industry. No.
I think in the creative side, you sort of have to put a facade at some point, but not in the sense of you're pretending to be someone else, but you've got to not pretend to believe in yourself, but pretend to be confident in who you are, to be confident overall.
I don't feel like that is the case.
Okay.
And it's just because of the fact that I grew up being quite a nervous person.
Yeah.
And someone that may have lacked confidence for many reasons. Obviously, child purposes. Things that I went through in my past life.
Yeah.
Growing up, school life, etc. So how I see it is that you will grow to be a confident person, and that really is down to you.
Okay.
You are going to face a lot of situations that you're actually going to have to stand on your 2 feet on your own, and like a lot of the time. And I remember being in sixth form, and I had a friend, because she was a friend and I had known her for a long time, and we stopped being friends. And I can't lie, she'd be those kind of friends that would defend me, because I was never taught to defend myself. I was never taught to speak for myself. And I will never forget, she was like, who's going to defend you when I'm gone? Who's going to defend you when you're in uni and you have no one to defend for you? And I think at that point, I kind of just took a step back and realized I can't be in someone else's shadow. So no, I'm not going to pretend to be confident. I am confident. And I think that's something that you really need to apply to yourself, anyone, in any individual. Because if you're pretending, then are you genuinely happy with what you're becoming?
I've got an answer for that. Just because I was in a similar boat as you. So I had this family friend that I was always in his shadow. I always wanted to be like him, pretend to be him. But como me vestía, the way I used to talk, everything about me was so different back then. Because I was imitating him.
I mean, that's not the case on my part,
no,
but yeah.
But
in your sense.
Yeah. But I was never confident within myself. I was never confident being who I used to be. I was never really being me. And I think after he sort of left the family, so I would have been sixth form college, I started to realise that I didn't really have an identity. I was more of a shadow. I was more of a figment, que digamos. I was a figment of him. And I think for me, that broke my confidence, that broke me, because I didn't have anyone to sort of... I didn't have that backbone to sort of stand on and be like, who am I? What am I? What am I doing?
I mean, everyone is different, and I think it takes time to find yourself, or to actually put your foot down and realize that you got to do this on your own.
100%.
And be confident on doing it on your own.
I think even when I used to do like marketing performances or speaking in front of a class, I used to be a nervous, quiet kid that hated to speak. And you wouldn't have thought that being on the podcast, having my YouTube. Because now I'm so much more confident, and it's because I think when I used to work with Joanne, who's a former mentor, and I love you to bits. I spoke to you this week. But I spoke to her this week, and she's like, Juan, I love what you're doing. I love that I gave you the tools to be able to carry on. But a lot of the initial process was me pretending to be confident in something that I didn't really know anything about.
I don't think that is necessarily pretending, because at the end of the day, you're trying something new.
Yeah.
You're experimenting to see where it leads to. But I don't think that's pretending. I think that's you developing yourself and becoming more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
and just more interested into getting into a podcast. Because I can't lie, when I was invited to that podcast years back, the conversations that I have now, what I had then, are completely different. So I don't think you were pretending. I think you were just testing the waters, which is completely different. And whether you thought it was pretending, that's you realizing that this is something that is potentially good for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think you were pretending.
I don't know, like
when you said that you were being a shadow, like because you were copying.
Yeah.
That is pretending to be someone. That is imitating something that you're not.
Yeah. To be fair, when I was imitating, as much as I felt comfortable and slightly confident in who I was, I didn't feel like I was me. So I felt confident in imitating this person and comfortable imitating this person, but I wasn't comfortable in leaving his shadow. I wasn't comfortable in
exactly my
being
point.
alone.
Yeah. You were happy being in someone else's shadow without shedding light on yourself. Yes.
And I think when I started making my videos, that was when I was like out of the shadow, out of his realm, and this was my sort of journey starting.
Yeah. So at that point, that's not pretending, that's being true to yourself.
Starting out, yeah.
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 And sometimes you don't realize it, but
if
that was the case, you wouldn't be sat with me having this conversation right now.
It felt a lot like pretending back then. I'll tell you that much. It felt like I was pretending to be comfortable in front of the camera to make sure people listen and be like, oh my God.
Let me tell you something. When I go up on stage, do you think I'm confident? Of course I look it.
You look it and you sound it.
But when I'm on stage, or before that, and my friends and my family are huge witnesses, and obviously, especially my parents, they've kind of learned that I'm a person that gets a lot of anxiety in social settings, and I either go blank, my heart goes pitter patter, or I start sweating like ferociously because of how nervous I am. Like I get sweaty hands and I'm like, they touch you. Like I don't want it. Or I tend to cry because I don't know how to control myself to be calm and deal with my situation in front of people. And when it comes to performances, every performance that I've done, excuse my language, but I want to shit bricks. That's how I feel. I genuinely feel like I want to like go to the toilet. Like, and I look at people and I'm like, oh, they look at me with eyes of judgment. And I'm like, no, but I talk to myself. I'm like, no, but I'm doing this for myself. I love being here. It's literally the reason why I do music, because I want people to listen. And then that's when I like eventually calm down. And obviously on stage, as soon as I start talking, I'm like, okay, it's like literally the lights turning off, and I just have one light in my face. Yeah. Like I just start, and I'm like, okay, that's it. But like 98% of the time, I am nervous. I am a nervous wreck, mate. I love it.
You love being nervous?
No, I love performing. Okay. But I love the adrenaline it gives me to avoid it when I perform. And I think that has given me a bigger push. Like even in uni, like we have to like do ensembles and we have to like perform in front of everyone. And I'm getting on stage and I'm like shaking. And I'm like, Mo's like, everyone here is literally on the same boat as you. It's calm. Like just do it. And then as soon as they hear me, it's like, girl, you good. Like it's really, really cool. And like I feel at home. Like I feel like when I perform, I feel like I'm at home songwriting. I feel comfortable. But yeah, it's just like facing people. It gets to me. But I love it. I genuinely love the adrenaline I get within my nervousness. Because it's that no one notices. And it's normal to feel nervous.
Yeah.
It is completely normal, and don't ever think that it's an emotion that you should avoid. Like, it's a big emotion, and I think a lot of us as artists suffer from anxiety, and I think that really does affect us when we do get on stage. And you know, it's things like that we do overcome with a lot of practice, with a lot of like training, and you know, seeking for help at that point, you know. So
yeah, I think the way I see it now with nerves, especially with guests, because I don't get. So last year when I started season 1, I got nervous with guests in the sense of I don't know where this is gonna go. I don't know what the conversation is gonna be like. I don't know where the conversation is gonna go, in the sense of, is this gonna go in a direction that I have no idea on the topic of? Are they gonna turn up? That was a big one for me last year. But now I'm in the sense of, what's the worst that can happen? I have to do a last minute adjustment and do a podcast by myself. Do I improvise a conversation on a topic that I have no clue what I'm talking about, but I'll wing it like I always do? So for me now, it's like, what's the worst that can happen, honestly? Someone doesn't show up. Someone doesn't...
It is what it is.
Yeah. I'll just go with the flow, and I think that's what people see. I'm an open book, and I've always said anyone can ask me anything, I'll probably answer. But if we go back 3-4 years ago, this wouldn't have been me. I wouldn't be here on the podcast. I wouldn't be thinking, oh my God, let's open up a YouTube channel, let's open up a Spotify. Different person.
And that's a good thing.
It is, but do you know?
Because you can't be like, oh, what if? You can't. These what ifs are what get to
No,
people.
but do you never wonder, what if I had started earlier?
Of course. What if I had started earlier? I'd be up by now.
But wasn't meant to happen.
But here we are. God's destiny is never determined. Getting religion in this now. Yeah, God, that type of... Your journey is never going to finish. And I think God really paves your path without you realizing. Yeah. So just keep going. You've started and don't look back. Like, yeah, you can compare it. But you know what? You've grown as a person. I've grown as a person. We have all grown as people. And we're not getting any younger.
No, but we are getting more intellectual.
Yeah, but it's that we wouldn't have been on the same level back then than what we are now.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
So as much as you can look back and be like, what if? It's happening. You're here.
Yeah. So are you.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I tend to avoid comparing. I feel like when you compare what life was back then for yourself and what it is now, it's like you're constantly missing. It's like you want to constantly miss something, and it's like, it's not that. You've already... That time has passed. Yeah. And what has happened, and that's why it stays right back there.
Okay.
But that's why you become the person you become.
I agree with that up until a certain... No, I agree with that fully. I agree with that fully, not up until a certain point. No, but I think I just compare the person that I used to be with now, because I look at myself and I look at my parents. That's my comparison. So I look at myself and who I used to be, and recuerdo being protected, being fragile, que digamos. Yep. Like, mi papá me cuidaban, no me dejaban salir.
Yeah. That was
just
me.
wrapped up in a little.
I was literally a little puppy being looked after for like 18 years of my life.
But that affects you. That does affect you so much mentally, because you're like, what if this happens? What if that happens? Looking at myself now, I've done boxing before. I'm opening myself up to opportunities. Yes, I'm opening myself up to debt as well. But I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying this journey. And comparing myself to who I used to be, I'm like, could I have done this, 6-7 years ago? What if I wasn't wrapped up in this foil for God knows how many years? Would life have been different? Would life have been the same? I don't know. But like what I said, I compare myself to who I used to be in that sense.
I mean, when you bring like parents and comparison, you can't compare yourself to your parents because we didn't migrate. We were born here. And our parents have different mentalities and a different way of thinking about life because they fought for everything that they have now.
They do, but the reason that I compare myself and my parents' version of me is because they treat my sister completely different.
Oh yeah,
so my
that's
sister,
like my brother too.
My sister used to go out. She used to go clubbing, dancing. I never had that, ever. So that's the spectrum.
I think in that aspect is my brother was always someone that followed the rules.
Yeah.
To please to be okay with them and have a good relationship. I was the complete opposite. Like, I wasn't. For example, I had curfew at like 6 and I'd come home at like 8. I would lie about where I was, but I was actually at a party. I'm there exposing myself. I'm sorry, mum and dad. But it's true. I caused them quite a lot of headaches. Not headaches to a point that I was like a bad girl and I was getting arrested and things like that. Although, yeah. But I rebelled against them until the age of 18, until I got into uni. And when I told them that I just wasn't ready, and that's when I thought I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. I'm there studying something that I didn't enjoy. And for them, especially them, they were just disappointed because I was meant to be the first person in their generational family to break the cycle of, let's say, unintelligent people, and I ended up just being the mediocre child. Now, my brother didn't do that. My brother went straight into uni. Like, he was going to take a gap year.
Yeah.
And he got convinced to not.
Okay.
He got convinced to not, continue. I mean, to not take the gap year. And it turns out that recently we found out he only did it for the sake of keeping a good relationship with my parents. And he was like, Mels, if I could have done what you have done, I would be happier. Because, bro, I feel liberated and happier at the journey that I took because I have taken time to develop myself into who I want to become, basically.
Okay.
And not for them.
See, he says that. I don't think he would have. Just because, like he said, God works his magic and he does, he paves your way. So, if he hadn't have gone uni, he might have been further along que llegamos. Or maybe he wouldn't be where he is today. Maybe he wouldn't.
I mean, there's a lot of circumstances.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know each other's ins and outs of our personal lives, and obviously that's respectable on why you would think like that. But obviously, me and my sibling, we're two peas in a pod.
Okay.
So I know I've literally been his confidant, and I think that us growing up and me seeing him feel like he's not doing enough.
Okay.
And he's so young, and he's such a wizard. He's such a wizard, and he's amazing at what he does. he just felt rushed doing everything.
Okay.
And sometimes when you rush something, you don't always get the greatest finished product. You finished, which is satisfactory. But was it to the standard that you wanted it? No. And I say to him, like, bro, at least you finished. And he was like, yeah, but like I wanted to do better. And I think that in my aspect now, that I'm doing everything for myself and doing everything that I had manifested from last year.
Yeah.
Well, from the beginning of last year, and it's still happening now.
Do you think? So with manifestation, it's difficult because I manifested a lot last year, but I didn't really believe in it. But this year, my energy is different. As soon as it hit 2024, I was like, you know what,
I had this energy before this year started. And I think that's why I want to like spread that to others, but also to maintain it. Because the only way you manifest things is if you believe in it and if you put the work in. So
it is. So when was it? November. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna carry on. Because as much as I love my podcast, I didn't know how much it was going to grow or excel further than what it had done. December, I did a couple of episodes. I put them out recently. But when December hit, mid-December, I was like, let me give it a try. Let me push it. Let me work hard on it. Invest in it. You've seen the setup. It's leveled up a lot since last time.
Looks lush.
Yeah, it's leveled up a lot since last time. I owe it to myself to sort of see what I can do with it. And as soon as 2024 hit, I was like, right, let's get to work. Let's get this done. Let's get into action.
As you should.
Let's get into focus mode. And ever since, I haven't stopped. Like, yes, I've not missed a day of uploading. I've not missed a day of editing. I've had 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you're my 5th guest.
Okay.
Which I'm excited about. And I was telling you yesterday, that the last episode we did, as good as it was, I don't think it was the right time to actually do it. I think it was rushed. Whereas this one, I feel like it's more natural, it's more flowy. There was just different sort of scenarios that played a part of it.
Yeah.
And it didn't go the way I wanted it to. I loved the episode, but it just didn't feel like it was hitting right. This time it does.
Yeah. You probably asked the questions here, but I have a question
for you. Go for it.
What's your opinion on self-love, and how would you influence it to others?
Oh my God, that's the toughest question I've had. I think I never grew up on self-love, if I'm honest. I never really had it until the pandemic hit. So for me, with self-love, I didn't really realise what it was until the pandemic hit. So when the pandemic hit, I was like, you know what, this is my time to make a change. And if I don't do it now, I won't ever do it. And I think that for me was the first time I was like, I feel different. I feel like I'm motivated. And I think that once you start to accept yourself, it becomes a thing of everyone starts to accept you for who you are. This is gonna get emotional. Oh, nice.
You can pass the ball to me if you.
And the reason that I'm saying it gets emotional is because I'm in a group chat with a big group of people, of men who go through a lot of things. They're not Latin. They're just ordinary men who go through a lot. And I don't think they really talk about what they go through. They don't talk about their feelings. They don't talk about their sort of. So one guy yesterday said, "Oh, I feel like everyone's gonna leave me. Everyone's gonna abandon me." And I read that and I was like, "Shit, that's exactly how I used to feel." So I never let people in. So I was always like alone growing up, and it wasn't until 2020 when I started letting people in. Melina, I love you. You were the first one that accepted me. So I think the moment you accept yourself and you put your own boundaries on who can enter your life, that's the first step in going, you know what? I love myself enough to respect myself and know who deserves to be within my circle.
Nice.
What about for you?
What a question. Self-love has been a part of my life for a long while. Obviously I was bullied, and I felt like I had to act a certain way, like as a teenager especially, to be something that I'm not. And then when I got to sixth form, I started getting to know more people and just connect with different cultures and with my own culture as well. And with my inner self, I felt like I was talking to myself a lot more. I would write a lot more. And I became a voice for females. I feel like us as women, we are special individuals. And I think as myself, I had to learn to love myself because I can't be dishing out my love to everyone. Because you feel empty after that. You're there filling water in people's cups, but who's filling yours? So I had to really sit down and tell myself, like, I need to work on myself. I need to better myself for myself. And everything that I do in my life is not to please others, is to please myself and to genuinely make sure that I am happy in who I'm becoming. And if I could tell my younger self that, I think she would be over the moon to see how I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I think two men that have really inspired me within the Latin community. DJ Will.
Good friend of mine.
He speaks a lot of mental health. He speaks a lot on what he's been through. You don't really realise the shit people go through in their own lives. You always see them and they're like, oh, he's happy, he's a vibe at the party, he's a DJ, he's got to make an impact, he's got to make, you know.
It's funny you say that. Like, I've recently wrote a song on mental health. It's a little snippet coming out soon. But I wrote a song based on mental health because it's true. You can put a smile on your face. You can be the vibe of the party. But behind closed doors, you are crying in a pillow and you're not telling anyone about it.
Yep.
You're hiding battles that you don't want people to know about.
100%.
And those silent battles is where you're most vulnerable.
Yep. That's
and especially for men, I know that it's difficult for you lot to express yourselves because of the stigma that men shouldn't be allowed to be vulnerable. And I think now it's an open conversation for men just as it is for women as well.
Yep. I agree. You know, again, DJ Will has been very public in in what he's felt. I'm not gonna out him on the podcast because it's not fair. It's not our place to sort of say
No, exactly.
what he's been
we
through.
Love you, Will.
But we do love you, Will. John J Productions is another guy who has inspired me. Again, I've seen him a couple of festivals. He's always the life of the party. But again, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. You never know what he's going through.
I think the purpose of this podcast is to actually make people understand that we work so hard to become something that we want, and the journey is not always going to be easy. And it may get lonely, and we will be facing our own thoughts. I'm not saying it's normal, but it's okay to face it.
Yeah.
And to not be afraid to face it. And to also know the people that you are around do genuinely love you. So... That
is something I've questioned a lot of in the last 3.5 years. Like, are they there genuinely, or are they there just because they know?
At that point, people come and go, but I think that's
the
100%. The greatness of knowing people and being thankful for teaching you a lesson or for staying in your life.
Yeah. Like, when did we meet? Last year? Yeah, see...
little bit before that, but yeah.
See, with you, and I said this to your brother when I had him on the podcast, I feel like you, him, a couple of other people I'm closer to than my actual family.
Oh.
And I think it's just because I've sort of got to know you, I've got to have that interaction with you, I've seen you perform. We haven't spent massive amounts of time together, but I can realise who's genuine now, and rather than...
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you. That's really nice to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that you called me to be a part of your podcast. And I know that last time we did have our shoot for this, and we know it felt rushed, but now it felt like it's the right time to do it. So I just want to say thank you for that.
That's all right.
I've really enjoyed my time.
That's all right. Definitely had to have you on and redo it. I think this one was a lot more...
Has been.
Yeah, this has been more... it's been like a real proper conversation. It's been more thought out rather than random questions here and there.
No.
The last question I wanted to ask you was, are you open to collabs or...
Well, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, I'm not going to collab with just any artist. Yep. I feel like, I'm not saying I'm up there, but I believe in my craft, and I'm not going to work with anyone that's like not showing me that they're on the same level as me, or I can benefit from like lyrically or like teach me something, you know. Yeah. Not for clout.
No.
So yeah, I am open to collabs, and there are a few people that have reached out to me for collabs. So yeah, just keep a lookout.
100%.
Wait and see.
I think it's gonna be a really good year. Positive, success minded.
Positive manifestations.
I was gonna tag you in the post I put out, not yesterday, day before. But I was like, there's too many people that are gonna come for me, so. Not because I tagged you, but just because I didn't tag them.
Oh.
So I was like, let me not tag anyone and just leave it.
Yeah.
But I think you are very success-minded, and...
Thank you. It took a while to get to where I am, but here we are.
100%. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
That's all right. I'm going to put your socials in the link below.
Yeah, guys. Stay tuned for more new music. I'm really excited. And yeah. Just stay tuned.
100%. Loved having you on. Like I said, I might get you on before the year ends again.
Okay. Like a reflection type of
just sort of
reflective conversations.
Oh, that's a
That's a great title.
That's a great title. But yeah, I'll probably get you on before the end of the year. Just sort of see where we are. And just talk out our plans for 2025, see what happens.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.